We've got you covered all season long. Welcome to the BCSN Nation podcast, powered by Buffalo Wild Wings.
All right, here it is. Welcome to a brand new episode of the BCSN Nation podcast. It's season 3, episode 22. Brandon Carnes here with Justin Feldkamp and Deon Thompson. You know, we're powered by Buffalo Wild Wings.
Let's go, sports bar.
We are in the closing days, weeks of the season. And I got to know, gentlemen, if you have a surprise team or man, this team didn't do what I really thought they would do team, maybe some tough love. Justin, you can go first.
All right, surprise team on the boys' side, I'll give you 𝗦𝗍𝗶𝗵𝘁𝗀. They were the preseason pick 4th in the NBC. They are currently 1st, so hats off to Coach Steve Carroll. Caden Hutton, their star leader, 20 points per game plus. So that was a little surprise. Girls' side, Findlay. Davani Harris has been a fantastic freshman, and Coach Brian Rosendale done a really solid job. They've knocked off some teams that maybe they thought that they couldn't beat. And then I'd say down but not out, not necessarily meeting expectations. Don't want to slam the door on them, but St. Francis looked like a team to beat in the month of December. They lost 6 in a row. They've lost 7 of 9. They are currently 5th in their RPI district rankings. But I think that we've talked about it for virtually the entire season. Playing that tough schedule in the Detroit Catholic High School League will pay dividends, but they're going to go up against the likes of Lima, Anthony Wayne, St. John's, and Start within their sectional district bracket. So it's going to be a tough road to hoe for all those teams, maybe outside of Lima Senior.
Deon?
I think two things can be right, okay? I got to say Whitmer, from what they did last year.
Okay.
And then they have 2 top-notch guys, not only in our area but in the state. I think if you even ask Coach Stacy and them, I think they're a little disappointed. Not that they're out of it. They're still obviously in contention for the league.
Right.
But I don't think the season went quite as well. The fortunate thing about it, just like Justin said, we got playoff time coming. You got some draws. But I think if you were to compare them to what they did last year, coming into this year, we really had some high expectations.
Yeah, and I would say from that St. Francis train, right, this is kind of the conversation we had about St. John's last year. We're like, man, maybe there's some things there, but things haven't gone right for him. And then the playoffs happened, and St. John's went on a roll, right? So we'll see how that goes. I'll talk about my surprise team a little bit later in the show because we're already going to be talking about them. But stay right here because we got plenty to talk about. All the sponsored things you want. You want a game of the week? We got that. You want a clip of the week? We got that. You want a player of the week? Shoot, we got that too. We got those every single Wednesday right here on BCSN or bcsnnation.com/podcast or anywhere you get your audio. And while you're finding those things, at BCSN Sports on all social media pages so you don't miss anything from Wednesday to Wednesday. We're getting right into it. The playoffs are here, at least on the girls' side. We know where people are going to be playing. We know what the brackets are going to show. So we'll start on the Division I side of things. Cisco, you can hit that bracket. So these came out Sunday. Some of these fewer teams, so we got out to the regional, right? This is the Fairborn Regional at Division I. You see Findlay at the top, Perrysburg, Whitmer, and then we get kind of our out of area. That is not Holland, Springfield. That is actual Springfield, Ohio. Gentlemen, D1 here.
Yeah, Findlay looking like they would obviously advance and then
the
face
first round
Perrysburg or Whitmer. Perrysburg advantage over Whitmer. And then I know that Findlay beat Perrysburg during the regular season. This is on the girls' side. But Perrysburg was without a couple key players. So we'll see who would win that Findlay-Perrysburg matchup. I kind of give that a toss-up. But then this Fairborn Regional, some people thinking, well, where's Fairborn? That's kind of down in the Dayton area.
Yep.
So with this new look, expanded playoffs from 4 divisions to 7 divisions, it's just different. And I think it's going to take some time for everybody, not just in our area, but across the state of Ohio to get used to 7 divisions and playing against different teams earlier in a bracket.
Yeah, a little more tread on the tires for the playoff season. Anything to add for D1 before we slide to D2? Deon?
No, I think it's going to play out to seed. You talked about Findlay, Perrysburg. Perrysburg's down, so that's kind of a toss. And Whitmer's down, too. So I think Perrysburg will probably win that game. We'll see Findlay and
all right, Cisco, we'll see the first of the D2 brackets because we got a couple. The Barberton Regional. This is Clay at the top. You see they get the bye in the first round. They'll slide up to play the winner of Anthony Wayne and Southview. And then the bottom side, Twinsburg, Amherst Steel, Hoover, and Harding. I think we could have, okay, I'm in.
Are you guys, you ready?
Drum roll.
Anthony Wayne all the way through.
Shook, gasp, I'm shook. I think two words kind of describe this whole bracket, and it's just Anthony Wayne.
Yeah, I think that they will handle business. It'll be interesting to see because there is the oddity or the unknown, I guess, from our perspective. I'm sure Coach Jamie Carter will see plenty of video on Twinsburg, Amherst-Steel, Hoover, and Harding.
Right.
And when you go up against teams that you haven't faced at all, it's one thing to watch them on film. It's another thing to tip it off and actually play the game for 32 minutes. So there could be some question marks, but Anthony Wayne, stay healthy, and they should advance. But the other caveat, though, those Twinsburg, Amherst-Steel, Hoover, Harding, those teams are closer to Barberton High School in that regional, so shorter travel. I don't think that means as much, but just something to think about, I guess.
Too many weapons.
Yeah.
I'm serious. Like,
too talented.
One goes down.
It seems like Dayton or bust right now. And see the other bracket, moving on to the other side of D2. This is the Princeton Regional. Northview at the top, Start, Fremont, Ross, and then we get out of town, Stebbins, Troy, Kings Mill, Kings, and Harrison. And I know, Dion, you and I talked about this Start Northview potential matchup. Could be a lot of fun.
I struggled with picking that one only because I know Start, they defend really well. They played against Hoban. I thought they played
really well for 90% of that game.
Northview shoots a lot of threes. So if they're on, they do it well. If they're on, to me, that's a pick 'em game, Start Northview.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And keep in mind, we saw Fremont Ross knock off Anthony Wayne when everybody was thinking Anthony Wayne in previous years. So upsets can occur. I think Start should handle business. But what I take away is with this, even with the expanded playoffs here, Start versus Northview. Northview gets the bye. It could be one and done. Start could beat Fremont Ross and then be two and done. And done.
Yeah.
You have the high expectations for such a great regular season. They got double-digit wins, nearing 20 wins in some cases if they can go on a playoff run. But one of those teams is done.
All right, slide into the D3 bracket, Cisco. We got the Lake District first. This one chock full of area teams. Notre Dame, Springfield, Scott, Sua, Bowsher, Central Catholic, Rogers, Maumee. I think the bottom half of that bracket has the more enticing matchups. Rogers, Maumee, Bowsher, Central. It feels like Notre Dame is kind of a lock to slide at least into that district final.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Interesting game. We talked about it, Central, Bowsher.
Yeah.
Central's playing better as of late, but Bowsher, they're loaded up, I think. And that Rogers, Maumee, that's another pick 'em game. But you said it. I mean, Lamar Smith has been here
tough to count out
a lot of times. I think you're right. Notre Dame kind of goes through that top, but the bottom four, I'm really
it feels
that's tough.
Up and down, toss up, play a good game.
You see a lot of top 30 players on our list on there. Nina Sims for Notre Dame. You got Lucy Porter for Maumee.
That's my go-to in this one.
Harris for Bowsher. So some stars on the court for that one. I hear you on Lamar Smith and been there, done that, but there have been times when they haven't gone on deep playoff runs. You got to have some top line players to go on a deep playoff run. So I would favor maybe Bowsher, I think, out of that quadrant, if you will, down there. But I could see Maumee. 100% I agree with Brandon saying that those two games are more intriguing. It should be Notre Dame to the final of that district.
All right, we'll slide to the next Division III bracket. We got plenty going on. This is the Buckeye Central District. Tiffin Columbian getting the advance at the top. Ashland, Manfield, Sandusky, Mansfield, Madison, and then Waite and Norwalk at the bottom. Tough draw for Waite. Not a lot of area teams here, just your team that you think is going to advance out of this.
Yeah, maybe Ashland, Tiffin, Columbian. I think this is a little bit of a toss-up. I just don't think Waite, Sandusky, our area, Toledo, and Erie teams will unfortunately not be able to advance there.
All right, we'll move to the Columbus Grove District, so we don't get too far behind here. Not a whole lot different. Lima Senior, Defiance, Shawnee, Elida, Bowling Green, Salina, and Wapakoneta here. Your team that you think is going to advance out of here, Dion?
I like Lima Senior. They're playing a tough schedule now. They're
better as of late too.
They've gotten they get a chance to face Bowsher tonight, so that'll be a true test for them. That's who I'm gonna ride with right now.
All right, we'll go D4. Justin, get your take on this Division 4 Miller City District. Wauseon, Van Wert, Napoleon, Bryan, Kenton, Woodward, St. Mary's, Rossford. Wauseon. Wauseon, and we go
up top. I think
Wauseon. Napoleon has played well this year. Corey Kreinbrink is no longer the coach there. He went down to the Columbus area after leading the Wildcats to a state championship a few years ago, 2021, the year after the pandemic. They've got a program at Napoleon. You're not going to necessarily always have a clean list of juniors and seniors who can just crush it night in and night out. But I believe in Napoleon being able to maybe spring an upset on
All right.
Wasion.
I like it. Move to the D6. It's our last of our brackets. We keep you plenty busy. Patrick Henry, they'll get the winner of Hicksville and Ayersville. Evergreen, Fairview, Montpelier, O'Hills, Tenora, and Liberty Center at the bottom side. Ottawa Hills, an exciting matchup, between two girls that we'll talk about a little bit later when we get into our top 30. But again, this just feels like a Patrick Henry is a very, very good team and tough to handle.
Yeah, they got Carries Crosland, who's also on our top 30 list as we expanded out that top 30 list beyond just the BCSN footprint. Ottawa Hills has had a great, stellar season. We have 2 Green Bears on our top 30 girls list. So it's one thing to do in the regular season. Now with a new coach for Ottawa Hills, what can they do in the postseason? So they're going to have some challenges. Liberty Center's a tried and true program, a lot of pride in there. But Patrick Henry, I would say, is the favorite.
All right, all those questions will be answered soon enough, but you got one more question. Who's our player of the week? Well, I got a wonderful wipe that's going to play, and then we'll tell you who our player of the week is. Cisco, do the wipe. Let's get into our Sean's Irish Tavern player of the week. Here he is, Kee'Ran Stokes, our Sean's Irish Tavern player of the week. He had like 52% of the vote. The Hawks community came out, put their votes in. 18 points in the win over Cardinal Stritch last Friday. We'll be quick with this one because we're going to talk plenty of Kee'Ran Stokes later in the show. So shout out to Kee'Ran Stokes, our Sean's Irish Tavern player of the week. And we'll be right back after 30 seconds from Buffalo Wild Wings.
Buffalo Wild Wings, buy one, get one free. Boneless Thursdays saved me so much cash. I can finally do everything I've ever wanted in life, like skydiving. You ready? No, this was a mistake, a huge mistake. I want to go back. Go, go, go! Yeah, I'll probably just use the money I saved to get more buy one, get one free boneless wings at B-Dubs. No brainer. Buffalo Wild Wings. Let's go sports bar.
At participating locations, not valid with other offers or discounts. See website or app for details.
All right, we are back and it's time. Friday, we released our first team All BCSN top 30. The watch list is here. We'll start on the girls' side of things. Cisco, you can put that list up. We got plenty of ballers in the area, Northwest Ohio and even outside of the BCSN area, like Justin talked about. And I know Dion and I are excited about probably the same girl on this list. Down there at the bottom left of the lineup, Ellie Everts. My goodness, put up some points, Ellie Everts.
Listen, you guys know I like hoopers, okay? She wears number 22. You watch her play. I could tell she's modeling her game after. Watched her last night. She is, I know it's high praise, but she gives you Caitlin Clark vibes. She is must-watch basketball. If you get a chance to watch Ellie Everts out of Gibsonburg, you will not be disappointed.
32 points last night against O'Hill. She's got 1,000 career points. She's a sophomore.
And they were double and triple teaming, and she was still getting her shot off. So to me, when I saw that last night, I was like, I got to talk about it.
Yeah, 1,000 career points as a sophomore. You've got Jade Latson on that list from start. She's the City League's top scorer and top rebounder. Of course, Elise and Brooke Bender. Justin, who else on that list stands out to you?
You got the Bender sisters. I believe only one of last year's top 5, Elise Bender, is back. So we're going to have 4 out of likely 5 of people there. Victoria Gray from Bedford. She is nearing 1,000. She has 1,000 points, and then she's nearing 1,000 rebounds. So
crazy.
She's within striking distance of the all-time Bedford scoring list as well, in addition to the 1,000 points. So she's been fantastic, one to watch, that they could go on a Bedford run during the postseason up in Michigan with Coach Bill Ryan. Nina Sims, I think, is a leading candidate for team MVP for Notre Dame. Like to see what they can do, maybe make some noise in the CHSL tournament before the OHSA tournament begins. Davini Harris, a freshman who's been fantastic. Elia Osi at Bowsher, and then Kalasia Harris at Bowsher. And then I'll shout out Leah Pike, because with good, valid reason, the Bender sisters get most of the headlines. But Leah Pike, a Ball State volleyball commit, still playing basketball, so tip of the cap to Leah with a scholarship in her back pocket, still says, hey, I want to be part of a successful basketball team. So, a lot of great names on that list.
That's what's cool about her and Victoria. Victoria's going to Indiana, obviously, for volleyball. Kendall Skyver, another freshman who plays some JV. I mean, straight baller. So the future is looking really good.
Yeah, a lot of youth on this side. Super cool. Let's see the boys list. Cisco, hit us with that. This is the guys' side of things. Antoine West, the only top 5 member from last year's group who is on the top 30 watch list. I think we can assure he might see the next couple lists. I'm going to go ahead and guess that right now. We'll see how everything shakes out. The top 6 scorers in the NLL Buckeye, all making this list. The NLL Buckeye has been balling out. And are there any standout new faces on this list that have joined the ranks of these must-watch players this season?
Let's see. Alan Horton. I'm telling
Horton's
you,
been
guys,
great.
So if you watch his progression from last year to this year, it was obvious that the work he put in the summer is really showing up. He's dominant. Also, I like, let's see,
I'm a big Ethan James guy. I'm a huge Ethan James fan.
You know I was going to go there. I love Ethan James. Jaden Jones, while we're talking about it. Dre Ward drop.
He hit 26 last night in Central's win over Start.
Yeah, outstanding player. But
I see our player of the week.
Johnson.
I see Kee'Ran Stokes. We got our player of the week in here. Tyler Robinson, been one of the few star points for Northview. We'll talk about a little bit more later. 𝗦𝗫Ce 𝗶𝘆, we've seen him really, Justin, come into his own this season.
Yeah, Manny Johnson for Central Catholic, Isaiah McRussell for Central Catholic. You know, some of these lists right here, you see multiple players from a singular team. We'll see how that narrows down when we get it to 10 on February 21st and then the final 5 on March 14th. But I like Jake Gherkin down at Liberty Benton, now joining the NLL here in next 2026 season. Josiah Jefferson, one of the Start's top players, and maybe getting some consideration for first team All-City League.
There we go. So that is our boys and girls top 30 list presented by 𝗦𝗽CE. We thank them for that. But now we got to get into our clip of the week, brought to you by Renewal by Anderson. All right, we're going back to last Friday's City League huge matchup. Let's start the game off high, flying. I mean, Willie Foster, he just doesn't have a limit to how high he can jump, it feels sometimes. This was the second bucket of the game. The first one, just an easy alley-oop to Sean Foster.
Watch the pass, though.
The pass. That's exactly where I wanted to see this. Just a quick drop pass from Sean Foster over to his cousin Willie. This made SportsCenter's number 3 play on the top 10 on Friday night.
These
boys,
a sophomore.
It's showtime.
And we could have picked a couple plays out of this game.
It's the Showtime Lakers-esque, right? Everything feels like a highlight when it comes to watching Limas Senior hoop this season.
Yeah, just the quickness, the elusiveness, the springboard right there. I think the Rogers-Rams defender there, they would want to contest it, but I think he just kind of got beat to the spot.
Quick.
Yeah, he just got beat to the spot.
Yeah, he got
even
out
if
the
he
way.
went up. It's one
I'm
of
not
those
being on the
things where-
poster.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Not being on the poster, one, but I think 2, you can challenge it, make it difficult. Maybe it goes in, but you want to make him earn it. But he was going to throw that down kind of regardless on there.
I was going to say, Justin, I know you love dunks, but trust me, from a guy that used to could get up a little bit, when the guy's there, you let that go, okay? Because you won't live that down at lunchtime the next day. So
I love the play design, right? You know how much attention Sean Foster brings, right? He's the number 2 ranked player in that class in the state. You see 2 guys collapse on him, and then Willie Foster's like, all right, thanks. I'll see you with my face at the rim. Again, the number 3 play. Lima Senior picks up the 72-57 win, locks up the top spot in the City League playoffs. Again, number 3 play on SportsCenter Top 10. You want more of this dunk? Check it out. And the other alley-oop that came with it over on our TikTok at BCSN Sports. Moving toward 10,000 followers. We're at like 9,700. Let's get those last 3. Now it's time for student section of the week, brought to you by Unison Health and Mental Health Recovery Services Board of Lucas County. We're going to Southview. The Cougars are our student section of the week. The fall 2023 winners make their way into the 2024-2025 winter season. They are taking on Clay Friday, a big NLL Cardinal matchup. The Southview Cougars are student section of the week, brought to you by Anderson, Unison Health, excuse me. Now we're going Friday night hoops, a big NLL Buckeye matchup for Clay, or talking the Cardinal, talking the Buckeye. We're just mixing everything up. Perrysburg and Northview.
There you go.
This Friday. We had the girls' side last week to talk about. Now we're on the boys' side. This Perrysburg team has claimed essentially the top spot right there with Whitmer in the NLL Buckeye, looking to hold on to that, taking on Coach McDonald and the Northview Wildcats, Justin.
I like how both of these coaches, Dave Boyce and Jeremy McDonald, develop players from freshman all the way to senior. We've seen maybe a rapid development with some of the underclassmen, or at least varsity players for Perrysburg, who are in a new role this season. It's kind of that adage of whatever year you are, this deep into the season, you're no longer a freshman or no longer a sophomore. You've kind of advanced up a little bit this deep into the regular season. This was a close game the first time around. Perrysburg won 70-63. So that's what I've liked out of the Buckeye, aside from Finley, who's kind of down this year after revamping an entire starting 5, senior,
really.
and then Ryan Montgomery departing as well. So the games have been pretty close. The two Whitmer versus Perrysburg games have been close.
Great games.
Perrysburg versus Northview has been close the first time around. That game was back on December 20th. I always like to see, okay, how much does a team advance from the first meeting, especially when they're more than 2-3 weeks apart. So we're talking about 8-ish weeks kind of deal. So with the teams that are learning and growing, I think that applies to both of these teams. But Perrysburg, I believe, beat Liberty Center last night, so they've won 8 in a row. They got some momentum going to this one, Dion.
This Perrysburg team, by the way, this was my surprise team. I alluded to it at the beginning of the show.
Okay.
They sit 13-3, 14-3 right as we stand, and this is my surprise team, which shouldn't be a surprise with Dave Boyce at the helm.
So what I look at, they're only giving up 50 points a game. Okay, so you hear me talk about the matchup zone. For you people watching, let me explain what it is. Okay, it's a zone with man-to-man concepts. So essentially, it's a switching man-to-man with a couple caveats where they can trap out of it and things like that. The reason why I bring that point up is because most teams at this level, they either have a man offense or a zone offense.
Right.
So you have to figure out how to manipulate that zone, okay? And a lot of times you can beat it with overloads, and you could set fake screens and that's how you beat it. Obviously, Coach McDonald did a good job the first time, and they're playing well right now. And this is the time of the year you want to be playing well.
Yeah, your peaking season. Yeah, you got Perrysburg coming in on a 7-game winning streak, 66 points per game
They're
offensively, only 50 points a game defensively, and they do it with a 3-headed beast, right? You've got Carter Young, Ben Paymer, Braylon Foster, all three of them in double digits. On the other side of things, Northview, you just talked about, they're 4-1 in their last 5. Tyler Robinson leads the NLL in rebounds per game at 8.2. And then you've got Gavin Kiefer, Carson Holmes stepping into roles that they need to fill to help Tyler Robinson.
You know when it turned the corner when they played Whitmer the first time and almost beat them? To me, that was like when the light went off, when they said, oh, wow, we can play. Even though we're young, we can play with the best team. Ended up beating them. So now they're on a real confident high.
Guys, I'd like to bring up the RPIs, and those who might say I do it ad nauseum. Well, there's a reason, because it is the determining factor of where your seating will be, and then placement within the bracket. So Perrysburg, as of right now, they're number 8 in the Northeast District. Remember, they're going just like the brackets that we were talking about earlier before. In the Division 1, you're going to be seeing Cleveland area teams. So right now, 1 through 8, Perrysburg is the 8 seed in D1 RPIs. St. Ignatius 1, Brunswick, St. Ed's, McKinley, Strongsville, Mentor, and Jackson above them. So when you're going up against those types of teams, you want to get as high of a seed you can to face those teams deeper into the postseason. So it's going to be a challenge. Whitmer is 11 on that list right now.
Last week,
so there's going to be some challenges for those D1 teams from our area.
All right, we'll see how this one shakes out Friday, 7:15 p.m. on the BCSN Plus app. But now it's time for our game of the week, brought to you by Dunn Chevy in Oregon. Cisco, you know what to do. TAACtion so nice, we're coming back to it thrice. The Toledo Christian Eagles are back for another game of the week here on BCSN. This week, taking on Maumee Valley in a great matchup. Teams separated only by a half a game in the standings for the top of the TAAC, with Toledo Christian sitting at 6-2, Maumee Valley sitting at 5-2. And it seems like every time we get to the first week of February, we're saying the TAACtion, it's a toss-up and figure it out from here.
100%. I got must win in all caps and circled on this one for both teams, because the team above them right now, Ottawa Hills, in 6-2. They face Northwood and Emmanuel Christian. On paper, Ottawa Hills should
Stacks up well,
win both those, so go to 8-2. And then you got Maumee Valley Country Day to face TC, EC, and Northwood. So the question mark would be against Toledo Christian. They should beat EC and should beat Northwood. And then with TC, They still got to face Maumee Valley Country Day and then Cardinal Stritch. So the way you're forecasting it out and projecting it, this game of the week, is the must-win game if you want to hold that trophy for the TAAC title on high. But Dante Fleming has a bear to prepare for Tyler Boris and TC, and vice versa, Dion.
First game was kind of close.
44-42.
And I think Maumee Valley, they've kind of flown under our radar, if we're being completely honest. But the game is at Toledo Christian, which is a very difficult place to play. However, and I'm going to say however in quotes, because Maumee Valley is on a 4-game win streak. They're playing with a lot of confidence right now. And you're right. I had the same thing. This is a must-win. The loser is eliminated. It's just
effectively,
unless something crazy happens, which we've seen it. But, I mean, I think the loser is done. So you're going to see a very hard-played game guys, if you want to go see a good game, go watch this one.
Yeah.
You know, this is going to be a great game. The atmosphere is going to be crazy. It's going to be packed. But right now, I don't know, because when I look down the schedule, Toledo Christian, they go on win streaks, then they'll win 2, then they'll lose 1. Granted, they played a tough schedule, but this is a toss-up for me.
You got top 30 players on both sides.
Yeah.
Kee'Ran Stokes, our player of the week, also on top 30, as we mentioned. Carter Kester, top 30 player for TC.
Yep.
You also got kind of, I don't want to call them sidekicks, but
Supporting cast.
Supporting cast. Silas Mickle on TC side. You got
Right.
Ty Lewis on the MVCD side. And then the RPI in these setups, both of them are in the same league and the same district in Division 7. So right now, Maumee Valley Country Day is 3rd in RPI. TC is 4th. So I think if TC wins, that's going to be flip-flopped in many expectations. But here's what I want to bring up, Dion, because when we were doing the live look-in of the Ottawa Hills game against TC last week, I get that you have a key player in Carter Kester, and Coach Tyler Boris wants to find a way to get him the ball.
Yeah.
But I saw in some cases where they were absolutely desperate when Carter Kester was not open at all, and they still forced the ball to him and almost got a turnover. So what my comment would be is plan A, get the ball to Carter Kester. But everybody in the gym knows that they're trying to get the ball to Carter Kester. So you got to devise a way to compel your players. Okay, if they got him double or triple teamed, find the other open man, and then maybe find him, Carter Kester, once you get the ball in bounds.
Well, you primarily saw that the second half, because we have to remember Mickles, he was in foul trouble.
Right.
So that's their other guy. And shouts out to Kester because he came through. I mean, let's call it what it is. They found him at the end of the game, knocks down the big 3, sends it in the OT, but credit to Ottawa Hills for staying with it, because a lot of teams would have folded after that.
Yeah.
Because that would have just took all the win out of many teams. They hung out. But I do think Maumee Valley, they got a lot of pieces.
Sure.
I know we talk about Stokes and the big fella, but they got a couple other pieces in there too.
And one reminder, keep in mind that Toledo Christian, that Ottawa Hills game, TC allowed an 18-2 run from Ottawa Hills to allow Ottawa Hills to get back in that game.
And
an
then had to mount a run of their own.
It went into overtime. So, I mean, both of those matchups went to OT and they split. But this matchup still put a nice bow on it. MUSTWIN, must win.
2 guys that stand out to me that aren't the names we've talked about. Kee'Ran Price at Maumee Valley.
Yes.
He has stepped up in positions where Kee'Ran Stokes has been foul trouble or been out of the game, whatever it may be. And then last week, Josiah McCulsky stepped up huge because Silas Mickle was in foul trouble like you talked about. And he was one of the guys that they had to look to get buckets. This Friday, 7:15 on BCSN and BCSN Plus app. And now we got 30 seconds from Buffalo Wild Wings to gather ourselves for the games list. Get it, Cisco.
I've saved so much money enjoying Buffalo Wild Wings BOGO half-off traditional wing Tuesdays. I can finally afford everything I've ever wanted in life. Wings. All I ever wanted was more wings. So yeah, buy one, get one half off traditional wings is the perfect deal for me and my lifetime yearnings. I value it more than literally anything. Buffalo Wild Wings. Let's go sports bar.
At participating locations, not valid with other offers or discounts. See website or app for details.
All right. 𝗦𝗽CE liked the first team all BCSN so much, they decided they're going to roll with us on games list. It makes me even more excited for my games list every single week. Girls basketball on Thursday, Perrysburg and A-Dub, Bowling Green and Clay on NLL sides of things. And then on Friday night, we've got our game of the week we just talked about. We've got Perrysburg and Northwood we talked about. Then we've got Stritch and Emmanuel, another big TAC game. Springfield, Fremont Ross trying to stay in that Cardinal side of the things on the race. We hit north of the border, the girls, Summerfield and Whiteford, and you see the TBD. That is because the City League semifinal games on the girls' side are being played tonight. The winners of those games will take each other on at Scott, 7 p.m. on Friday. And then, of course, we've got high school hockey, Findlay and St. Francis, gentlemen.
Start and Bowser, I think, are going to fill those to-be-determined slots on the girls' side, so that'd be great to feature the girls' City League championship game. 2 teams who could go on some deeper playoff runs, but it's going to be a challenge for both of them. On this matchup, we talked about Perrysburg and Northview and Maumee Valley and TC. So, that Cardinal Stritch Emmanuel Christian game, I think that falls into the category of Dion of games where it really matters to those teams because they're kind of outmatched against the top teams in their conference. But those are the games where, hey, let's find a way to win.
And we probably pissed them off, so they have a chance to play spoiler too with some of those other teams. So they're going to be seeing it down the line. So maybe they prove us wrong.
All right, check out Game Day Nation to see how all those games shake out this Friday night. Also giving a shout out to Quinyon Mitchell and Kareem Hunt, a pair of Toledo Rockets, both playing for his Super Bowl title this Sunday. Someone's
Dallas
coming
Gant,
home
he's
with
on
a
the
ring.
roster.
Dallas Gant also
Eagles.
in Philly. Plenty of that going on. Make sure you're here every single Wednesday for a brand new episode of the BCSN Nation podcast. Until then, we're out of here.